Good morning. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm never scripted. I do not have notes. I talk off the top of my head using what was given to me by God, which is reason. Human beings have one thing that no other animal species has, and that is reason. The ability to reason. I think one of the main things that is being done to humanity is our reasoning skills are being eliminated, starting with schools. And as a former teacher, it's hard for me to admit that. Although I tried to push individual reasoning in my classroom, we are taught to read government issued books that are approved by the government, and these are the things that we need to learn and regurgitate, memorize, etc. Now, memorization has its purposes, such as multiplication skills, mathematical, which can be looked at objectively. Now, when you get into topics such as English, things are much more subjective, hence why I chose that field. I loved when I was challenged by students on certain topics. I loved when I saw them be able to bring in a different aspect that was based in, you know, reasoning that maybe I had never thought of before and discuss that amongst the other students. Or change my lesson plan for the day and go off somewhere else because it was a moment, a teachable moment. I hated lesson plans. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing and you have to write it down, God help you. But, the paperwork trail is just such a necessity in the educational system. I guess that goes to funding and money and to keep us reined in, the teachers. But today in society, I see a lack of reasoning. Most of the reasoning is done by the television, and the general population follows the television. And most of the television is run by one perspective, which would be more to the left. We today now have things that I never, ever, ever imagined becoming issues. And I'm not talking about people who were born with both sexes and have certain medical labeled issues of some kind. I wouldn't really call it an issue because it's who they are. And I have no problem with that. I sympathize with their predicament and in life. And I hope that they are successful in life. Matter of fact, my master's is in special education. I recognize differences. I recognize disabilities. Some of the greatest children are Down syndrome children. They just love life. And it's such a joy to be around them. They don't understand evil and bad. We could all be a little bit more like them. And if the world was a little bit more like them, it'd be a better place. But today, now we're arguing about whether you're male or female based on your thoughts, your feelings. Not, I don't know about reasoning, because biologically, you're either male or female. And now we have scientists backing up non-scientific premises based on feeling. I think that would fall under psychiatry, but who am I to say so? Bringing my daughter into a bathroom where there is a male, even heterosexual, would be a problem for me. A huge problem. Bringing my daughter in with somebody who identifies according to feeling and drugs as a female but is biologically male is a problem. No distinction, both are problems. They're both males, biologically. And to try and blur the lines is just unfathomable to me. I don't understand this thought process about feeling a certain way, therefore everybody needs to feel the same way and agree. So you want to take away my ability to reason and my structure of morals and values and what I believe is right and wrong according to your feelings. I don't get it. What you do in your home and in your car and around people you choose to be around is your business. But in a public setting where a lot of people might consider that wrong is everybody's business. It's getting really strange when the more bizarre the issue, the more attention is brought to it. People with real issues, like where they're going to sleep, what they're going to eat. They might need new shoes. They might need a job. They might have a drug problem they wish to get rid of. Those kind of issues are just passé. But I need to be worried about your feelings, about whether you're a male or female. That's ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on here in this world. I don't, I don't go to church. I don't. But I believe in God. There is something greater than us. Much greater than us. We just didn't poof, come out of nowhere and come to an existence. And no, we did not come from apes, monkeys. We didn't. I'm sorry. We were created by some omniscient force. I'm trying to appeal to everybody here. And whatever that force is for all of you, he, she, it, they, I'm speaking to all of you, is shaking their heads. If you're on the side of good. I see a lot of evil going on around everywhere. Absolute evil. Me, me, me. what makes me feel good, what I want, despite, this is the key, despite what it's going to do to anybody else, despite what it's going to do to society, despite what it's going to do to the world. Feelings. Those people with those feelings. What is going on here? It's just, I struggle for words to even deal with this. And I'm an English major. This isn't anything we ever saw coming. I mean, if you had taken me back in the 80s in high school and said, now look, you're going to have to deal with the fact one day some of these males and females around you and those yet to be born are going to have feelings that they want to be something else, I would have said, are you kidding me? And I'm not talking about homosexuals, gays, lesbians. You know, I really have no problem with that. You know, what you do, again, in your house, your car, your whatever, amongst your friends, that's your business. They don't affect my daughter or my son seeing the opposite sex before the time is right. Oh. And I so want to address this. They are giving children, hormones, are delaying their puberty with drugs so they can make the transition into the other sex, gender. Are you kidding me? The brain is not fully developed until 21 years of age. Scientifically, they aren't even anywhere near grown. You think they really know? They really know what they want? Are they being influenced by what they see on television? Are they just having a feeling for, 6 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years because they're getting attention that way? What is wrong with these parents? You are biologically affecting the child and their growth. What is the long-term effects of what you are doing to them? Now, when they get to be an adult, that is their decision. But how dare you as a parent go and do something like this to your child? Inject drugs into their system that could possibly really, let's not talk about the psychological effects, but let's talk about the biological effects. What is it going to do to them long term? What is their lifespan due to these drugs? They don't know. This is recent. Your child is being used as some biological experiment? Are you serious? By the scientist. Let's see what this does. Let's see how long this lasts. Let's see what their lifespan is now. Come on. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And those of us with morals and values, on the side of good, we might not agree on every single little nitpicking detail, but we do agree on a lot of things when it comes to right and wrong. Is anybody being taught what is right and wrong anymore? I mean, I see evidence out in society where what's right and wrong is being blurred. Now, I live in the South. Right and wrong is a little bit more distinctive down here. But I've lived all over this country. And I can tell you there are places that right and wrong just basically are being eradicated. And I don't want it filtering down to the rest of us. There's going to come a time, I don't know if it's in my lifetime, and maybe biblically this is going to, it's going to happen, because I don't know how things can continue at this fast a pace with the way we're headed without that higher power stepping in and saying enough is enough. We're going to start over. Like biblically they've said, we're going to start over before. Societies have been eradicated historically. That's a fact. Whole populations have disappeared. Historically, that's a fact. And some of that's been done by them having guns and the society not having guns that they eradicated. But yet we have all these people standing up saying we don't need guns. Really? Seriously. So I'm going to rely on a group of people in power, a minority, to tell me what it is that needs to be done in my life, period, and have a gun to make me do it. But yet, I don't have a gun to defend myself. I hope to God I never have to kill anybody. I really do. But in a case where I need to defend myself against insanity, against an aggressor, I want to have that right. And I'm sure people in China wanted to have that right. I'm sure people in India wanted to have that right. I'm sure people in Poland wanted to have that right. And all the other people that have been wiped out by genocide wanted to have that right. They never thought it would be necessary, but then the time came. And they were gone. Whole generations were gone. These young people who are standing up today against guns and gun control. Okay, so we want to make a law that no one can have a gun till they're 21, or certain types of guns till they're 21. Yet we're going to send these men and women off to war at 18. Okay, there's one thing that doesn't make any sense. Also, we're going to have not going to have certain guns till they're 21, or all guns till they're 21, or any guns at all if they have their way, according to these young people who have not even experienced any kind of life, and a lot of these coming from very privileged communities. And they're going to tell us what to do? What we need to do? Are you serious? When in the world did children get so much control? Oh, I'll tell you when. Like Hitler said, we get a hold of the youth and we have them all. I'm paraphrasing. He had those young children and that he pretty much brainwashed into turning in their parents and relatives and anybody else of dissension who were trying to help the Jews or disagreed with his principles or anything else, killed the children, turning them in. The similarities are scary. Let's get back to what we first started talking about, reason. They're going to take away your individual right to be able to reason what is morally correct and what is incorrect, what is right, what is wrong. And they're going to tell you what you need to think, feel, do, say, how to be, what to dress like, where to live, where to work, how much you're going to make, All of it. That's what you want? That's what you want. This social Nazism bullshit. I'm so sick of it. Yeah, we let the Nazis go free after World War II, and they relocated to South America, and they relocated in our country and NASA and everything else, and you can see it just creeping up over the years and spilling out into our communities. You think letting stuff like that go because they're the minority, it's just no big deal? It eventually grows and they get into places of power and it spills out onto society. And this is what we're left with. 2018. This is what we're left with. I have children. I always look forward to being a grandmother. Now I hesitate to even think of being a grandmother because I don't know how much longer this is going to go, and I don't know where it's headed, and I don't want my children and grandchildren living in this. And I don't know exactly what to do except get here on YouTube and voice my opinion. But that's going away too. They're taking away channels left and right. We're going to have to go someplace else. There are some suing them. I hope they win. I might not agree with everybody on here. I have a right to listen or not listen, subscribe or unsubscribe. I'm an individual. But to try and force somebody's views down upon me or take away people's right to free speech that, you don't agree with, etc. If they don't want conservative values and thinking at all or views on YouTube, then they need to put it in their policies. We are adamantly against anybody with conservative views, and they will be removed immediately. Be honest about it, like the others have said. Lock down people on praying. Pray hard for you and yours and society as a whole. I don't think there's any place we can hide. I don't think we can just go move to the mountains and get away from it all, because they're surrounding you and eventually they'll come in if it keeps going the way it's going. You've got to fight where you stand. And remember, if they ever come around to your doors and start rounding up people, you better say something. You better do something. We've seen what's happened in the past. I don't care if you don't agree with those people or their views or their religion or their stance on life, etc. You better stand up for those people, because guess what? You're next. I'm going to say a prayer on here. Lord our Father, please watch after the people in all of the world who are good, who want the best for all and the children of this world, who would stand up for their neighbor, their community, against the evils that have taken over this world. Be with them. Help them to have strength in their heart and their minds and their souls to stand up and be with you at the time that is most difficult, when all are against them. and let them know that there is a place after this world. Where things will be better. And the trials and tribulations are now. With much joy also. But life is not easy. Life is not simple, and life is not fair. But in all this, we can stand up for what is fair. We can stand up for what is right. We can stand up for principles of right versus wrong, good versus bad. And as we stand up, you will be with us. And our eternity will be the reward. And that they will not lose this battle here on earth. And they will remain good. And they will remain sound of mind. And they will have reason. And they will have their souls that you gave us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.